Hey. Today I'm going to be doing my September wrap up. Yes, my September reading wrap up. My neighbor has literally just started mowing their lawn right now. Please! Anyway, yeah, today is going to be my reading wrap up. I read 8 books and I'm excited to talk to you about them because there were some good ones. But wait, before we get on to the wrap up, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Book of the Month, as you can tell by this snazzy blue box. So if you didn't know, Book of the Month is a super popular and fast-growing online book service for readers. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and help us readers discover books that we love. Their team vets hundreds of books each month and gives their readers a curated selection of new and early release titles. So you can spend more time reading and less time researching. And Book of the Month is risk-free, which means you can cancel any month, anytime, and you won't be charged. Plus, they have the best price for new release hardcover fiction. You can get your first book for just $9.99 with the code TREAT. And let me just show you which books I picked out. I chose some very seasonally appropriate books. First one being The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. This is the same author who wrote The Ex-Hex, which I read last year, so I'm so excited to read this one. And then I also chose Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. Again, this cover is so beautiful. I think this is also kind of like witchy vibes, so perfect October books. And of course you get the super cute bookmark. This one says, "I put my shelf first." Yep. So if you are interested in these titles or any of their other selections, head to bookofthemonth.com and use the code TREAT to get your first book for just $9.99. Thank you, Book of the Month. Now, let's get back into the wrap up. So, like I said, I read 8 books, which is not bad at all. I guess it's not a low number. I feel like that's very average for me. But over the summer, I was able to read a lot more. And this month was honestly just like such a weird month in general. I don't know if you remember, I had all these grand plans in my TBR video. I was like, I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna read this. A reading vlog on this? I feel like that would be kind of fun. I will for sure be reading, and if I don't, then someone just like delete my whole channel. I am determined to read these books, even if it takes me all month to get through these. So I'm going to read it this month. I'm going to read it. I also do want to do a reading vlog on this one. Yeah, well, I read 2 of those books that were on that list, which is fine, but I was just so determined to read these books. And then I got into this very weird reading slump. Not necessarily from the books I was reading, but I just didn't want to read anything. Honestly, it was because I fell down this weird rabbit hole of watching old YouTube videos, like all the videos that were uploaded from like 2013 to 2017. Just like super old YouTube videos that I used to watch when I was in like middle school and early high school. I don't know what it was. I was just like, I was back in my staying up until 2 a.m. watching YouTube videos phase. It was really weird, but I just get like really obsessed with things. And this month I was obsessed with rewatching old YouTube videos. And that made me like not want to do anything. I didn't really read too much. I didn't really make any other videos because I just didn't want to. So yeah, it was not my most productive month. I really need to like go outside or something, but it's okay. You know, sometimes you need that. And honestly, watching Dan and Phil play The Sims really just like healed something inside of me. Anyway, I did manage to read 8 books and I found some new favorites. So let's just talk about them finally. So the first book that I read this month, I actually started at the end of August, but I didn't finish it, so then I finished it in September, and that book is Small Town Hearts by Lily Vale. I'm so glad that I finally read this. Not because it was like amazing or anything, but I think I've said this before, but I bought this book like 3 years ago, I think. And I was so excited to read it because it was like this cute YA summery small town romance. But then I never read it because the main character's name is Babe. I just don't know why, but I was just like, why is her name Babe? Like I didn't like that, and I don't know, I didn't like her name. Anyway, I got over it eventually. You get used to it, you know? It's kind of like Belly from The Summer I Turned Pretty. Like when you first hear it, it's like, her name is Belly, but you get used to it. It's fine, whatever. Anyway, This book, like I said, young adult, takes place over the summer in like this little coastal town, and our main girlie, she works at a coffee shop, which I thought was so cute. I just loved all the scenes where she was at the coffee shop. And then the boy in this book, he's like in town for the summer. He's an artist. They kind of start up a little fling, but she's like, I can't fall for him because he's a summer boy and he's just gonna leave, whatever. It's really cute, and there's like all this other kind of side drama. Her ex is back in town. She just like had a huge falling out with two of her best friends. It wasn't like the best book or anything, but overall it was super cute. What did I rate this? 4 stars? I think 3.75, 3.5. I don't know, honestly, it feels like forever ago since I've read this book. So after that, I was still kind of on a little bit of a YA kick, so I finally picked up, okay, that was not very smooth, okay. I finally picked up Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Again, young adult. This takes place on the last day of school. Yeah, last day of senior year. Rowan and Neil, academic rivals to lovers. We need more books with this trope because I just love it. Just like two smart people competing for like the top position at their school, or just competing over their smartness together. Like, something about that is so good. I just love it. I loved their banter. It does happen all in the span of like one night. It's pretty quick. Their whole school plays this kind of scavenger hunt type of game, but you like also get people out. So there's a winner at the end. I don't know. I'm not really explaining this well. I don't really remember what it is. Yeah, they all play this game. Eventually they're like kind of out for each other, but then they're like, wait a second, we're the two smartest people. Why don't we team up and try to take everyone else out? So that's what they do. They end up realizing they don't hate each other as much as they initially thought. Aww. Yeah, it was cute. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, but it was still a solid 4 stars. Like I said, great banter, academic rivals to lovers, good stuff. Good. What did I give that? 4 stars? Did I say that? I don't know. And then after that, I started a series. And this series is kind of what my whole month surrounded. Don't look. For a little bit, I was super into this series. And then once I finished it, I was just like, kind of sad. That series is the Sugar Lake series. That was a loud clap. The Sugar Lake series by Emily McIntyre. I talked about this before. I talked about it in my book haul. I think I talked about it in one of my summer TBRs. Didn't get around to it until this month, but I did get around to it. And so, Sugar Lake series by Emily McIntyre. This is a small town romance series. It all surrounds this friend group, and each one of these books are about a different couple. First, you start off with, I need to stop doing that. First, you start off with Beneath the Stars. Also, these covers are literally the most beautiful covers I own. Are you kidding me? They're so pretty. Anyway, Beneath the Stars. This one is childhood friends to lovers, best friend's brother, second chance, small town. Okay. So it's about Alina and Chase. So one day Alina gets these new neighbors, Chase and Lily. She instantly befriends Lily. They become best friends. Chase is the older brother of Lily, and he's always kind of caught Alina's eye, you know? She's always kind of had a thing for him. Eventually they start dating when they are in high school, but he's not really the best boyfriend. He has a lot of stuff going on, a lot of internal struggles he's dealing with, and so he's not like horrible or anything, but he's just not the best. He doesn't always put Alina first, and so that kind of creates this conflict between them. And while this is happening, there are other things going on with Lily. There's stuff going on with the parents. It's a lot of drama. Something happens, Chase moves away from the small town, and then you get their second chance. So this isn't dual timeline or anything. It starts when they are kids, and you get a couple chapters of their childhood, and until they grow up, they become teenagers, and then something happens, like I said, and then the book continues on when they are adults. This was really good. Like I said, so much drama. There's so much going on, and the character development of this man Chase Adams, it was so good. Like, the person he is in the beginning of the book and the person he is at the end is just two different people. Amazing. I loved seeing him, you know, grow as a person, all the things he did to better himself. I love him. I love him, and I love him and Alina together. I love their story. I love the small town setting. So good. Love this. I gave this 4.5 stars. Then after that, you move on to Beneath the Stands. I love this one so much, and I was not expecting to. I honestly thought this one would be the one I liked the least, but I think it might have been my favorite or my second favorite. This is about one of Alina's best friends, Becca, and then her brother, Alina's brother, who is Eli. And like I said, these all kind of overlap in timeline a little bit, so I don't really want to say much about this one. You kind of got to read this one and then this one and then continue on, because some of the things that happen are happening at the same time, and so I don't want to give anything away. This is like an enemies to lovers kind of, but they're not like really enemies. They kind of hate each other at first, but then they don't, and then something happens and then they do, so it's a second chance. And there's just, again, a lot of drama in this book. I loved it. Okay, I loved it. Again, small town, but it doesn't, the thing about these books is that they don't all take place in the small town, but this small town is just so significant to each of them, and they all eventually find their way back home. Did I give that 5 stars? Sure. Yeah, 5 stars. And then once you read that one, you read Beneath the Hood, which 5 stars. I loved this book. This one is about Jackson, another friend from that friend group, and Blakely, who is like social media influencer girl, and Jackson works on movie sets. He makes cars. He like fixes up cars and makes them look all pretty so they can be used in movies. And so that's how they meet. He works for her father, and so there's that. There's an age gap. It's obviously very forbidden because of the whole your father is my boss type of thing. This was so good. This reminded me a lot of Reich and Daisy, just because of like their dynamic, and it reminded me of like when Daisy was a model. You know, obviously Blakely is an influencer. She does like a lot of fashion shoots and modeling too, and like some of her habits and some of the things that she deals with are very similar to Daisy Calloway, and so I love that. They really reminded me of each other, and obviously Hot House Flower, my favorite book. I felt very similar vibes in this book. It was so good. I loved it so much. And then we get to the last book, which is Beneath the Surface. I don't really want to say anything about this book because it's just like a gigantic spoiler to things that happen in like the first book, but I will say this one I did not love. It was my least favorite for sure. I just didn't really like, I don't know, it just, the things that happened in this book I just didn't really like. One of the characters is like keeping this big secret and hiding something from the other character, and that just made me so incredibly anxious because I was like, they're gonna find out what's gonna happen when they find out what you're keeping from them, and it just made me so nervous to read about, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like feeling that way. I mean, all the books contain like very sensitive material, so if you're gonna read these and if you're like triggered by anything, definitely look it up because these are some heavy books, especially the last 2. So yeah, I didn't love this one. There was like this side plot that was also going on that I didn't love. I was just like, there's too much. I don't know. I just didn't really like it that much. I still gave it 4 stars because I just like these characters, and the epilogue just made me so happy. That was the Sugar Lake series by Emily McIntyre. Definitely a new favorite of mine. Okay, so after that I was like, ugh, what do I read now? Because honestly, I just don't really want to read anything, like I mentioned before, but I decided to pick up The Bodyguard by Catherine Center because it's a very short book. So yeah, very short, very easy to get through. It seems like a cute book, so I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. So I did, and that's exactly what it was. It was a cute book, it was fun, it was short. This is a fake dating romance about a bodyguard. Wow. Actually, the girl is a bodyguard. She works for this like secret like this protection service where they go out and they're bodyguards basically. They go out and they protect people, but they are not like the traditional I'm your bodyguard. It's more of a hidden identity type of thing. I don't really know. It's about Hannah and Jack. So basically her company gets assigned to help this guy out. He's like this super famous movie star actor guy. She pretends to be his girlfriend because he is spending time with his mom. She's sick and he wants to just like spend time with her on the down low. He doesn't want to attract any attention, and so he can't be like, hey, this is my bodyguard. Like, he doesn't want his mom to worry about him and all that stuff. So they pretend to be dating. They spend some time at his family's ranch, and it's really cute. Solid 4 stars. So again, it was a quick cute read. And then we are moving on to the last book that I read this month, which I'm kind of sad to talk about because I didn't really love it. And that book is The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. This was one of my most anticipated books of the entire year. I've been waiting for this. I love the Spanish Love Deception so much. So I read this. It came out earlier this month and I just didn't really like it. It didn't really hit the mark for me. This is about Rosie and Lucas. And if you've read the Spanish Love Deception, Rosie is Catalina's best friend and Lucas is Catalina's cousin. So they end up both staying at Lena's apartment while she and Aaron are on their honeymoon. They don't know that each other are going to be there. Catalina doesn't know that Rosie's going to be there. So it's just this whole thing. They end up becoming roommates for a little bit. Rosie is a romance author and she has this big deadline coming up, but she has no inspiration. She doesn't know what to write about. And so they make this deal to kind of go on these experimental dates. And so it's kind of like fake dating, but not really because they're not like acting in front of anybody. Trying these things, trying to get this inspiration for her. They become friends. They start doing all these things together, spending all this time together. And then, you know, it becomes more. It didn't really grab my attention. I didn't feel that same excitement for the characters. I didn't really care for them as much. They weren't bad or anything. I just felt like they were a little bit boring. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of it was because I was in a reading slump and it took me a while to get through this. I just wasn't excited to read it. I should have put it down and waited for another time. But I just kind of forced myself to read it and it wasn't that great. I gave it a 3.5, so still good, definitely not bad, but it didn't blow me away, and I'm really sad about that, but it happens. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!